Imagine stepping into a 400-year-old building. You can almost feel the history in the walls, right? And it's nestled in one of Europe's most beautiful towns, a UNESCO World Heritage Site. Now imagine that building, a working restaurant, is actually for sale. That's the really rare gem we're diving into today. We've got the sales brochures, the investor briefs, even some pretty interesting internal notes about this unique spot in Banská Štiavnica, Slovakia. So our mission here isn't just, reading a listing. We want to really unearth the layers, the history, the business side, the practical stuff. Is it a dream investment? Or maybe a historical headache? We're aiming to go beyond those glossy pictures and give you the full story.
Exactly. And for you, our listener, think of this as a journey. We're blending that deep historical significance with some very real business potential and, naturally, the practical things you have to consider. Get ready for, I think, some genuine aha moments. We'll be looking at not just what's on offer, but why it matters. It takes critical thinking for this kind of investment. It's definitely more than just buying property. It's like stepping into a living legacy with all the opportunities and, yes, the responsibilities too.
Okay, let's unpack this, and maybe we should start with the town itself. Because Banská Štiavnica, it's really something special. People call it Slovakia's most picturesque UNESCO town. It's not just old, it's this incredible architectural gem packed with, over 400 years of history. Picture it, cobblestone streets, these winding medieval squares, grand old houses. Oh, you can almost smell the history. It feels like you step back in time, doesn't it?
It really does. And that UNESCO recognition back in '93, that's huge. It's not just a title. It drives cultural tourism, adds serious prestige. The town's history is rooted in mining, a really unique background that shaped its look, plus they had this famous mining academy. So you get this mix of industrial heritage and academic history. It creates a cultural vibe you don't find just anywhere. It pulls in a certain kind of tourist, someone looking for depth.
Right, and this restaurant property we're looking at, it's not tucked away somewhere. It's right in the thick of it. You can literally walk to so many amazing places. The old castle, like 350 meters. St. Catherine's Church, just 220 meters away. The Slovak Mining Museum, which is so key to the town story, only 650 meters. The Botanical Garden, 1.2 kilometers. Newcastle, 1.3K. It's all right there.
So what kind of foot traffic are we talking about? Is it mostly day trippers, or do people stay longer? Does that prime location become even more valuable? That's a really good question. And the answer is probably both. The UNESCO status definitely brings in casual visitors, sure. But Banská Štiavnica is increasingly a destination in itself. People come for longer stays, seeking, authentic experiences. They want to connect with the heritage. So yeah, all those nearby attractions feed into this really lively feel. It's driven by tourism, culture, events all year round. It's not just a summer town. And think about the Tachi Lakes. Those aren't natural lakes. They're these amazing old reservoirs built for mining centuries ago. Now they're used for recreation. Adds so much character, right? And year-round appeal.
That's fascinating. And logistics-wise, it seems surprisingly reachable, which is obviously key for visitors, but also maybe for staffing. It's only 170 kilometers from Bratislava, 190 from Košice. Even Budapest isn't far, 220 kilometers, Vienna 260, Krakow 280. And airport Sliac is super close, 45 kilometers, Bratislava 175, Budapest 225. That really opens it up, doesn't it? Makes it accessible for international visitors too. Broadens that customer base quite a bit. Okay, so we've got this beautiful town, this amazing setting, but let's zoom in. For someone actually thinking about buying, what exactly is this property? The address is Andreja Kmeta 12, 96901, Banská Štiavnica. And yeah, it's that 400-year-old architectural gem we mentioned. A real piece of history. Asking price starts at EUR 337,000. Which, well, for something with this history in this location, they're calling it a rare opportunity, owning a piece of a UNESCO site.
And a big plus, from a business angle, is that it's listed as operating restaurant premises. So you're not starting totally from scratch, trying to get permits for change of use. And crucially, it has a basement and a chimney. Sounds basic, maybe. But for a proper commercial kitchen, absolutely vital. That's infrastructure that can be incredibly expensive and really complex to add later, especially in a historic building like this one.
We were digging through the sources. Something really weird jumped out. Some listings actually said Dubai, Slovakia for the location, obviously a typo. But then they also listed children daycare as an amenity. For a high-end restaurant property, what does that even signal?
Well, that's quite something, isn't it? It screams, really, the need for meticulous due diligence. These aren't just small mistakes. They're, frankly, red flags. Children daycare. Clearly relevant. Needs fixing immediately. Misrepresents the whole thing. And the size listed, 244,341 square feet. That's obviously wrong for this kind of building. That's like a shopping mall. That number needs immediate checking against the official cadastre records. Independent verification is non-negotiable here.
You mentioned the cadastre. For listeners who might have heard the term but aren't sure exactly what it means in Slovakia, what is a cadastre extract and why is it so vital for sorting out these errors, especially with heritage properties?
Good question. Okay, so think of the title deed as proof you own it. The cadastre extract is the government's official map and detailed record of that property. It shows the precise boundaries, any easements, those are legal rights someone else might have, like sharing a path or a utility line, and crucially, the official legally registered floor area. In old buildings, this is super important. Boundaries can blur over centuries, shared rights might exist. The cadastre gives you that legal clarity. It's fundamental for due diligence, especially when you see errors like the ones you found. It definitely makes you wonder, what else might be off?
Exactly. So, okay, we fixed the listing errors, but then what? This is where it gets really exciting, right? The sources aren't just saying fix the typos. They're really pushing this as a lucrative opportunity, not just owning history, but making it profitable today. But how do you actually do that? Blend modern business needs with a 400-year-old building under UNESCO protection. Seems tricky.
That's the heart of it, the challenge, but also the immense potential. The possibilities are pretty diverse, actually. Lots of flexibility for someone with vision. You could create a truly fine dining experience where the historic ambiance is just as important as the food. Unforgettable, right?
Sure.
Or maybe a sophisticated wine cellar. Imagine using that historic basement to showcase amazing Slovak wines, maybe international ones too. Another idea could be a boutique lounge mixing modern style with that old world charm. Or even perhaps a cultural experience center, really leaning into the town's heritage. The unique setting itself enables these extraordinary possibilities.
Yeah, and the sources had some specific ideas. I liked the heritage bistro concept. Miner-inspired food, local ingredients, really connecting to the town's past. What would that actually look like? Are we talking fancy versions of old stews or dishes that visually tell the mining story?
Oh, absolutely. You could do a miner's feast tasting menu. Maybe a refined take on demikot, that traditional Slovak soup, but elevated with local mushrooms. Or perhaps a slow-cooked venison, like they would have hunted nearby, using old techniques, but with modern presentation. Each dish could have a little story with it, connecting it back, maybe served on special plates inspired by mining tools. That's how you leverage the UNESCO prestige factor and that growing cultural tourism. It justifies higher prices, gets you PR, attracts people looking for something genuinely authentic, not just dinner, but an experience.
Wow, that sounds amazing. Weaving the history right into the food. And financially, there's that immediate perk. No transfer tax in Slovakia, apparently. Just modest notary and registration fees. That seems like a significant saving compared to other places in Europe, doesn't it?
It's a huge advantage, yes. Transfer taxes elsewhere can easily be 3%, 5%, even up to 10% of the price. That's a big chunk of cash up front. Getting rid of that lowers your initial investment costs significantly. It frees up capital right away for renovations, marketing, whatever you need. Improves the cash flow from day one. Makes the whole deal more viable, financially speaking.
Okay, but with all this opportunity comes responsibility, especially in a UNESCO site. This brings up a key question. How does that status actually impact renovations? Can you just do what you want, or are there strict rules?
That's maybe the single most critical point. Think of it like restoring an old master painting. You wouldn't just paint over it, right? But you can clean it, maybe reframe it, install climate control to preserve it. It's similar here. Renovations must keep the historic character intact. But you can modernize the functional bits. It's about respectful integration. Putting in a modern kitchen, new plumbing, updated electrics, that's usually okay as long as it's done carefully. You enhance the function without damaging the history or the look. You could have a state-of-the-art kitchen inside, but the outside, the structure, that stays historically accurate.
Right, so no free rein. The sources mention needing to work with the Regional Monuments Board. What exactly is that? What power do they have? Are there common problems dealing with boards like this, especially if you're, say, an international investor who's not used to the system?
The Regional Monuments Board is the official body protecting Slovakia's cultural heritage. They have the final say on any changes to a protected site, like the structure, materials, appearance, everything. The potential pitfall for an investor. Underestimating the time and expertise needed? You can't just show up with standard plans. You absolutely need a conservation-minded architect, someone who deeply understands these heritage rules. They need to develop plans that meet your needs, but also show exactly how they protect the original building. It's a rigorous process, lots of back and forth, not just a rubber stamp. It's about safeguarding the legacy.
Makes sense. And this leads us back to due diligence. Beyond the architect, what are the absolute must-do checks before anyone signs on the dotted line?
Okay, first, get and verify that title deed and cadastral extract. Confirm ownership, check for any easements, and crucially, get the correct verified floor area. Fix those listing errors for good. Second, check all occupancy and use permits. Make sure it's permitted for a restaurant. And specifically, check terrace rights if you want outdoor seating. For a 400-year-old place, permits might not be straightforward. You could be dealing with old zoning, maybe historical usage rights that are hard to confirm or change. Terrace rights often involve using public space, so that could mean extra permits and specific rules from the Monuments Board about how it looks.
So it's not just about owning it, but what you're allowed to do and making sure every bit is accounted for. What about general compliance stuff?
Exactly. Then you need the standard compliance checks. Things like an energy performance certificate, fire safety regulations, which could be tricky in old buildings, needing creative solutions and confirming any past or needed approvals from the Heritage Board.
And technical checks specific to running a restaurant in an old building. Any unique challenges there?
Oh, definitely. You need to ensure the kitchen extraction route works and is appropriate. Getting chimney certification is vital, could mean specialized checks or new liners that fit the historic context. Basement waterproofing is crucial in older structures to prevent damp, and you must verify the utility capacity, power, gas, water can handle a commercial kitchen and can be upgraded without damaging the building's fabric. These are practical must-haves for a safe, functioning business.
Right. It sounds like a detailed process, but potentially very rewarding. Slovakia has an updated construction code coming in 2025. Might that help? Or does heritage still rule?
That's a good point. The new code might streamline some modern building aspects, yes, but it absolutely will not override heritage protection laws. In the UNESCO site, heritage oversight is and will remain paramount. And honestly, it should be. The value is the history. Protecting that integrity is key.
So wrapping this up, what does it all mean for you listening in, whether you're a potential investor or just fascinated by this stuff?
I think the takeaway is this. It's a genuinely rare chance for a heritage-backed hospitality investment. The branding potential, leveraging that UNESCO status, is huge. And it's but it demands incredibly thorough due diligence. Properties like this, they just don't come up often. It's a limited, prestigious opportunity tied to real cultural value.
Absolutely. And beyond the numbers, owning a 400-year-old piece of a UNESCO town, what does that really signify? It feels like more than just business, doesn't it? It's like becoming a guardian of history.
And maybe that's the final thought to leave you with. If we connect this to the bigger picture, in a world often obsessed with the new, the disposable, what's a real value in becoming a steward for a place that stood for centuries? How does that responsibility shape your vision for its future? And how does it shape its legacy, and maybe even your own? It's a chance to weave your story into something much, much older and help write its next chapter.